Hello everyone, this is Jamie. I want to welcome you to my channel. I just want to let you know my kids are home right now, so if you hear some background noise, it's just my kids are playing around. And I tried to record this last night, but it didn't actually record, so we're gonna try again today for round 2. This is going to be my completed pages for the month of February and the month of March 2020. And just as a disclaimer, this is an adult coloring channel, and these videos are not intended for children. If you are under the age of 18 or not an adult, please exit this video. I appreciate that, and let's get started. So my first one is the only PDF I did, which is this one. Make sure I got it in a good view. This was a freebie that Genevieve Art put on her Facebook group, and I'm a part of her Facebook group, and it was for the COVID-19 thing, and I colored it with just a random assortment of markers and pencils. And when I say random, I just put my hand in a bin and pulled them out as random colors, and this is what came out. This mask and these pockets and the border is all washi tape, and I have used an X-Acto knife to cut around them so that it would be cut pretty nicely. So that one turned out cute. And it was limited color palette. Oh, in the background I used stencils with my pencils.
Mom, stop.
You're fine, bud. And I'm going to show you guys my little books first. First one is the Sherry Baldy Buttons and Bows coloring book, and I've done 3 in here. I've done this one, and she has pencils, gel pen, and gelato, and I used water with the gelato. That's why the page is kind of warped, and I might cut her out and put her in like an art journal, so I'm not too worried. And I have an extra if I wanted to wear again. And then I did this one, and this one was pencils and gel pen, and I believe it was my choline colored pencils. And then I did this one just the other night, and this, her hair and her skin are the choline colored pencils, and the pink and the yellow are Moonlight Jelly Roll, and the sparkly blue, if you guys can see that, and the gold, they're Pentel Sparkle Pop gel pen. And those are the 3 that I've done in that one. I did one in this one, the coloring postcard book, and this is from Japan. And I did this one right here. This one's mine. This is the one that they send you, like they give you. And I used
I didn't get off there.
Arteza watercolor pencils for this one, and I used gelato for the background. And I have a little bit of stickles on her hat and her collar. The next one is this little book, and you guys have probably seen this book before, like at your grocery store or something similar to this at the grocery store or Walmart. And they just have, like, they have words, and then they have designs on the side. And I started that one. I haven't finished it. I did that one, and I used the Crayola Take Note Click gel pens, and I think I might have used some Zebra Click gel pens as well. And then I started this bird, and I haven't finished it. And Dreamlings 2, if you're wondering why my Dreamlings looks like this, it's because I have purchased the PDF and I took it to my copy store and I actually had them size it down so it would be more travel size for me, and printed it on cardstock and spiral bound it. And I just did one. I'm doing them in order, so I did this one. And it was just Bic and Sharpie fine liners and a little bit of Tin How alcohol marker for the bigger areas. But this was a quick, fun one just to do, just easy going on a day that was kind of crazy. Next one I have is in the Tokidoki coloring book. This is a really fun book if you like Japanese cartoons. And I did this one. And I have used a black Sharpie to black out the background. And all of this is colored with Sharpie highlighters and midliners from Zebra. And then I also have used gel pen in the more detailed spots. But I think it turned out cute. It's nice and bright and vibrant, which is fun. So those are all my little books. At least that's what I'm seeing. And I'm just going to dive into the bigger books. And this is in no order, like some of them I did in February, some of them I did in March. I just pulled the books as I found them in my list. And I've done one in this one. This is Flowers and Gems by Gravia Salvo. Sorry if I said that wrong. And I did this one. And I didn't do like a background. I just colored the elements on the page. And I'm pretty happy how it turned out. There was a little bit of smudging right there where it bled out a little bit. I tried to cover it with white gel pen. And then I tried to use Posca and it didn't really work. But that's okay. It is what it is. It's done now. And I think the colors do complement each other very well. Next one I have is Kawaii Grayscale Coloring Book by Jade Summer. And I have just done one. And this one, I really like how it turned out. This one actually took me 3 days to do, just because of so many things going on in my life. And this book is actually relatively easy to get things done within like 45 minutes to an hour, or even less. And I added stickles to the wings, and a little bit of Sparkle Pop gel pen to those stars, and then white gel pen to the little bubbles that are around her. And I really like how she turned out. She actually reminds me of the fairy that's on Tinkerbell that works with the flowers. I think her name's like Rosetta or something like that. Continuing on the fairies kick, I did color one in Fairies Jade Summer's grayscale version. And I colored this one. And this one I just used a variety of markers, a few gel pens here and there. Just kind of pulled things at random, and hopefully they worked out okay. And I chose to do her hair purple for just something different. And originally her dress was a lighter pink, but it was blending into the skin too much, so I went over it with a darker pink. And I kept this table white. I just shaded it in with a little bit of the tan so that it popped a little bit more from the page, because I have the papers are white. Next one we have here is Superheroes Coloring Book, The Lacy Sunshines by Heather Valentin. This is a very adorable book, guys. I didn't even know she had a superhero book. And I got this one and it's just so cute. So I'm going to do these ones in order, and I've done this one first. And I believe her name is like the Sproutinator. And I think her power is to grow things from the earth. And the background is eyeshadow. I used markers on her and I shaded in with pencil. I think I shaded in with my Prisma. And then I used some gold sparkle gel pen just to make some of those elements sparkle. She looked kind of steampunky too to me. Next one I have here is Mouse Guard Coloring Book by David Peterson. This is a really, really cool book. It's really thick, and the designs in here are so neat, the illustrations. And I have just colored the one because I've been so intimidated by it, but I just dove in and I decided to color this one. And I did this as a buddy color with a friend, and I chose to do these blue because they look like bluebells. But basically this whole thing has been done with Derwent Inktense pencils. And well, I have a little bit of gel pen here to make his earrings kind of sparkle. And then I've used some, I think it was Prismacolors, just to shade in just a little. But for the most part, it was just the, it was just the Inktense pencils and a water brush. Just gonna move these ones out of the way. Grab the next stack. Sorry guys. I have done 2 out of Baby Dragons by Jade Summer. These ones I did in February. I did this one, which my daughter really likes because it's pink. But it was like a limited color challenge that I did with a friend, and these were the colors, and it was a lot of fun and really quick and easy to do. And then I did this one as well, same limited color palette challenge, and I like how this one turned out too. Both super adorable little dragons. This is a good book if you want something simple. And this was Baby Dragons by Jade Summer, and those were done with a combination of markers and gel pens. The next one I have is the Dr. Seuss Coloring Book, and this was a buddy color with a friend. We did this 2-page spread, and I've had mine spiral bound just to make it lay flat. And I used Crayola Super Tips, and I have eyeshadow in the background, blue eyeshadow, and I used a little bit of glitter gel pen just like to outline the letters, and I used gel pen on this little flower thing that he has. And I actually colored him with crayons, Crayola twistable crayons, and then I've shaded him in with eyeshadow, a gray eyeshadow. Yeah. And that turned out really well. I'll have to try that again using my eyeshadow for shading. And when I'm using my eyeshadow, I do seal it, and I seal it with either a workable fixative spray, or I use Herbal Essences aerosol hairspray. Mine smells like oranges or something like that, and I kind of like to use that if I have to spray in the house so it smells good. Next one I have here is the Girls Coloring Book and it's the volume 3, I believe. It's the ballerina edition, and this is a Japanese coloring book. And I have just done one. I did this one. And I have used gel pens and Prismacolor pencils. Background is Pebbles chalk. I did a combination of colors. I noticed it was starting to get kind of muddy in a few places, but I'm just still learning how to work with Pebbles chalk. And I've used washi tape on the bottom here just to create a little bit of a border. I didn't want to go all the way around, just on the bottom. And then I put a little sticker there. And I think it's bright and cheery, and it was kind of a fun little tester. And then I sprayed it with a fixative spray so it wouldn't go onto this page. The next book I have here is a spiritual coloring book, Enchanted Mandalas, by Elena Shalve. Sorry if I said that wrong. Not very good with names. And I have done two. I did this one, the nameplate page, and I just used gel pens to color this one. And then I had done this one, and these gel pens were in my collection of gel pens that have like a very little gel pen in them. I was just trying to use them up, and I just picked this page and decided to try to use up my gel pens. So I know it's bright, but I was just trying to use up my gel pens. And then the background, I used the Pebbles chalk on this, and it feels kind of rough. I don't know if I'm loving the texture. When I use eyeshadow, it doesn't feel like that, but I'm still kind of learning. And then I sprayed it, of course, with a fixative spray because I wanted to just make sure it didn't go to the next side. The next one I have here is Fantasy Kingdom by Juliana Emerson. And this is a coloring book for adults. It's smaller, so I guess I could put it in my small collection, but I think it was buried, so I didn't realize it was in there. And I've just done one. I did this one, and I used my Prismacolor pencils for the girl and the owls, and she has some sparkle gel pen on her outfit there, on the waist and on the wrist. And then the background actually looked different. It had some waves and some other birds. And I really wanted this to be a night scene because of the owls, and I didn't care for the other birds. So I just blacked it out with an alcohol marker. And then I drew in my own stars. And that I used the white Sakura gel pen. Or no, it was the white Uniball gel pen. And then I have one that I did in this one, Cutie Dolls coloring book by Genovea Art. And this was for Color Your Horde on Levea's coloring. And I did this one, and I think she turned out cute. I did her kind of basic colors because I really wanted to do this rainbow pinwheel. And of course, I had to add stickles to make it sparkle, kind of giving the illusion that it's spinning a little bit. Yeah, and she has an eyeshadow background and marker on the bottom there. And I never go all the way to the ends of the page because most of the time when I take pictures or whatever, I frame that out. Or later down the road, if I want to cut these out and frame them, this stuff will be covered up anyway. So I really don't worry about that too much. And I think she turned out cute.
You next me.
Next book I have here is the Mermaids, Fairies, and Other Girls of Whimsy. And this one's by Hannah Lynn. And I have just done the one in February, which was this one. And I actually did this one for my daughter's birthday. And I had her pick the colors. These are the colors that she likes. And she kind of has a reddish blonde hair. So I kind of went more like a reddish colored hair. And it was fun to add some sparkle, and I just had fun with it. And then I did a base of marker background, and I used my white gel pen to go around the bubbles to make those yellow bubbles pop, which I thought was fun. So that one turned out cute. Next one I have, I can't remember if I did this one in January or the end of February, so I'm going to just show it to you guys. If it's in my January one, my January video, I do apologize. I didn't realize, but I did this little guy with the deer horns, and he's got, I don't know if I can, there's gel pen. This is the sparkle gel pen on the stars. There it is. See the shiny? And it's shiny down here as well. And then the background is all gelatos. I just randomly swirled them around, and then I used my finger and swirled them together instead of coloring each individual star. And he was colored with, I can't remember what color pencils, but colored pencils nonetheless. I want to say it was my Black Widow pencils, but I could be wrong. Could be something different. I know it's not Prismacolor though.
What are you putting? The pieces? Have you put all the pieces?
The next one I have here is The Wildlife Wonders by Millie Murata. And this book was a gift from a friend, and she wanted to do a buddy color. So we did this one. And I chose to do this kind of like rainbow fish. And after I was done, this is pencil and gel pen. And I believe I used I can't remember if I used my Black Widow pencils or my Colleen colored pencils. It was one of those, I think. And gel pens, of course. And then I have acrylic paint on the background. But then after it was dry, I added sparkle Mod Podge over the top to create those sparkles, if you guys can see that. There's sparkles on them to give kind of like a sparkly glisten to it, and it feels really cool to the touch after it's done and dry. And after putting Mod Podge on your page and after it dries, it won't stick to your other page. So I thought it turned out nice. And I did get a little bit like right here, but I'm not too worried because I could do a black background on that other side if I choose to color that side. And this was my first Millie Murata book, so I'm pretty happy how this turned out. Next I have is the Precious Moments coloring book. And I have done, this one is just from Amazon, and it just has stock photos, I think, in it, because you can find them like for free online as well. I did this bear, and he's just markers pretty much, Cali art markers, and then I added a little bit of white gel pen just to highlight him in some areas. And then I did this little cowboy, and he is again markers, and I shaded him with some pencils just a little bit, and I added some gel pen to his boots and some white just to bring out some highlights. And I really like how he came out as well. The next one that I have here is Animal Quest, the baby one, so baby animals. And this is by Sun Life Drawing. And I've just done these in order. And I did this first one. I think it's supposed to be a pony. And I used alcohol markers on that one. And they're pretty simple, and they're not super tiny, which is nice. And then I did this piglet. And this one I did with permanent fine liner markers by Shuttle Art. Next one I have here is Peter Pan by Fabiana Attanasio, and I have just done one, and it was this one, and this one I did in March. And if you guys have seen it on my Instagram, I posted it recently. And I've used Prismacolor pencils, Inktense pencils, and Gelato for the water with white Posca pen. And currently I am working on my crocodile on the back here. I have a wax paper right here on top of it, but it is being used, I'm deco foiling him. So basically you use a glue, and then you put the foil on top, and the foil attaches, transferable foil. And it's going to take me a little bit to get done because it's a lot slower process than coloring an image. But I think overall he'll look really cool. He'll have this like greenish metal look to him once he's done. So I'm excited about that. And I tested it on this little clock in the front because I wanted to make sure it would work out all right. And then after I was done, I covered it with Mod Podge just to ensure that it didn't stick to this other side. Next book I have here is Adult Coloring Book Treasury 2. And this is a really cool book, guys. It's super thick. I actually saw this book on Coloring with Claire. She actually has both of the volumes. It has 130 illustrations from 70 artists, and so that's a lot of different variety, especially if you like to do a random amount of pictures. This is the first one I did. I wanted to just use a random assortment of rainbow gel pens, sparkle gel pens. It's kind of sparkly, if you can see that. I don't know if you can, there you go. And I think it turned out pretty well. And then I decided I wanted to do one with Bic markers, and so I did this one, and it was Bic markers and Sharpie markers, the fine liner, except for this blue inside that is a Teen How alcohol marker. And so I just have done 2 in this book. Next one I have is Steampunk Darlings by Hannah Lynn. And the reason why my book looks this way is because I have purchased the PDF, and I actually had it bound at the copy store and printed. And I printed it on heavy cardstock. And I did this one. And I thought she kind of looked a little bit like Alice in Wonderland. So, because of the bunny, and I don't know, something about it reminded me of Alice of Wonderland. But at the same time, she looks kind of like a magician at the same time. So I kind of did like an Alice on top, and then I went kind of steampunk colors towards the bottom. And then I did a green background just because I didn't want it to clash too much, and green complements red, and I thought that looked really nice. And she was mostly done with markers, and there's a little bit of gel pen on there too. Next one I have is Beautiful Dresses This is an adult coloring book for fashionistas. And this one I saw on someone's YouTube channel. I think it's Paul and Shannon's YouTube channel. And I have just done one one in the month of March, and it was this one, and I did use the Take Note Crayola click pens to do this one, and I also used a couple zebra gel click pens as well. So those are both the gel click pens, and it's not sparkly or anything, it's just matte. It's kind of fun to do things with just an office supply pen. So that turned out good. These are just full of dresses. I've done that one a while ago. Next one I have here is in Magical Jungle by Johanna Basford. And I just did my nameplate page, because I really wanted to test out these markers that I have that are the Faber-Castell washable markers, and they're the washable fine liner markers. They're like $8 on Amazon, and I wanted to make sure they didn't bleed through, and they do pretty well. There's a little bit of shadowing, but as long as you're not scrubbing with your markers like really going to town, you'll be okay. And I kind of kept it all kind of the same color palette because I wanted it to match. And then I added some gel pen to certain areas because you can't go wrong with sparkle, right? We're like at 32 minutes now, and I probably have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 10 more books to go. I've actually been busy these past couple months, so Mythographic Imagine is the next one I have here, and oops, it's not the one I did last month. Let's see if I can find it. This one I actually recently finished. Just trying to find it. It's not the frog one. No, I did that one a while ago. That one. I did the truck one. And this was a buddy color with 2 of my friends. And I happened to finish mine before the month was done, so I just added it in for the March completed pages, basically. And I've just used markers and alcohol markers, a little bit of gel pen, and I think it turned out all right. When I started this page, I wasn't way into wanting to put in tons of detail because it's such a detailed page already. So I just kept it simple on myself and added markers and just did markers and gel pen. Next one I have is Snow White, and that's by Fabiana Attanasio as well. And I did baby Snow White here, and I tried to keep her the traditional Snow White colors right here in her blanket, just so you would know which baby this was. And then I tried to incorporate that in the butterfly and in just the flower arrangement in general. Added some pinks here and there, but I think overall turned out pretty well. Next one I did was in Fairy Miracles, and I think this language, I think it's like the German language, or I don't know. I got this one on a deal because it wasn't English, so I was okay with that because that doesn't seem to matter when you color, you know. And I still got my note in English, so I didn't mind. I finished this one. It was a work in progress since January, but I finished it up this month. And it has a variety of pencils on it. I have Polychromos, Derwent Color Soft, Black Widow, Koh-i-Noor, Polycolor. Yeah. And I used a little bit of gel pen on the egg there. And I think I did a little bit on that flower crown too. And that one turned out really good. I've done 3 in this book. This one was my very first. And then I did this one. So I've only done 3 in this book. The Fairy Miracles. Next one I have here is Mythographic Aquatic. And I did this one, and this one was a color and chat that I did on my Facebook group, and it turned out all right. I added a lot of watercolor to it. That's why it's a little warped. And then after I was done, I outlined this in black to give it more frame. But I think it turned out well. And the pencils I used were Black Widow pencils on this one. Next one I have is this one. And since this is such a giant book, I'll do my best to keep it in frame. This is Disney Vitro. I have the Spanish copy. Let me just find my page. I did the Pooh Bear page because I love Winnie the Pooh. I'm going to turn it. Sorry, guys. I'll turn it sideways so at least you can see the whole picture in the frame. And I've used gel pen. I used some Crayola Super Tips. I've used Arteza watercolor pencils. I used a little bit of everything on this. I hit it with all sides. Basically, I just wanted to find whatever colors I could find to go and make this all work together. And I used metallic watercolors on the Pooh Bear. And those metallic watercolors are the ones that I got from Hobby Lobby. So those turned out really well. Next one I have here is Curious Creatures, and this one was done in February, and I did this one. And I actually added this 3 Blind Mice Bakery to the bottom because I felt like they look like the 3 blind mice and with little ovens in their bellies. It's kind of like a machine animal type of book, and so it's kind of silly. And then I have washi tape around the border, and this one is from the Coloring Haven collection. I think this is by Amy Weber. Yes, Amy Weber, and this was done in February. Next one I have is New Fashion Princesses by Demita Victoria, and I have just done one. And I did this one, and I kind of figured, I really thought it was Ariel, so hopefully it's supposed to be Ariel. Demita actually liked this on my Instagram and put it for photo of the day. She liked it, and the trident made me think it was Ariel. And I changed it to a night scene instead of a day scene and added some stars. Next one I have here is Geometric Mandalas Coloring Book by Jade Summer. And I did this one with oranges and greens, kind of like sunflowery colors. And I did highlights with white gel pen. And the low lights are just a darker marker base. Like, can you see the darker orange on top of that yellow? And I think it turned out really good. It looks very gem-like, which I think is neat. And this is a good book if you want to practice your gems or if you like mandalas. Next book I have is the Misfits Fairy Coloring Book by White Stag. And I have just done one, and it was this one. And this was on a live chat on my YouTube channel, and or not my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel, or Facebook page, and I just did her with Black Widow pencils, and this is gelato to create the fairy sparkles, except for the little dashes. Those are colored pencil. And I think she turned out adorable. I didn't stress too much about doing a whole background. I just kept it pretty simple. My last two books are part of the Disney Disney Colorage Magics. No, I can't even say that. It's the mystery collage ones by Hatchet Heroes, I believe. And I have done this one, which was Snow White, and I used Crayola Super Tips on her. And the shine in the background is a metallic blue gelato. And then my last one was in this Les Grands Classiques by Hatchet Heroes. And I did this one of Bambi and his mother. And I used Crayola Super Tips. And I wasn't too happy because of all the lines. I am a perfectionist and I don't like lines to show. So this one, as you can see, I'm working on Alice. I am using pencils on her, choline colored pencils, and there's not nearly the amount of line situation going on like it happened over here. This still turned out really cute. Don't get me wrong, but I prefer a non-streaky line. So, and that is all. Those are all the works that I did in February and March. I also completed one diamond painting. It was a partial diamond painting, so it didn't take nearly as long, but I am pretty proud of myself to complete those two things, and I want to thank everyone for watching my video and sticking through all those books. I think there was 36 or 37 books that I showed you guys. And if you like my channel and you want to see more videos, you can like and subscribe. You can hit the notification bell if you'd like. And I hope to see you guys again soon. Happy coloring, everyone.